stay united. So don't come to the party if you ain't invited.
Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? It's me. It's Mike Lepre, King Michael. This is Legit Fantasy Football. It is October 10th, 2021, 10/10/2021. It's Sunday, Football Sunday, week 5. It's 11:07 a.m. We're going to get into it. We're going to give you the picks by the spread, and then we're going to give you some fantasy sits and some fantasy starts. As always, the genius Kev joining me. How are you, Kev?
Hey, King. It's been a good weekend so far. Just got away from football a little bit, although you guys probably wouldn't know it. But on Friday night, I went to see Mulholland Drive in a theater, which was awesome. I don't know if you're a David Lynch fan, but it was playing at a midnight showing at a theater in the Village. That was awesome. Yesterday, I went to Queens for brunch, went to Brooklyn for a light show, back to Manhattan for a hookah bar, went home, watched the Tyson Fury fight. It's been a great weekend. In the middle of all that, Master Thomas and I were doing pretty well in college football. The only game I lost yesterday was Alabama. So it's been a great weekend so far. Let's roll it right into the NFL.
Only problem I have with that is the hookah bar. I hate hookah bars. They just look so pretentious. You know what I mean? I'll have the strawberry nicotine, whatever, and they sit there with their pipes like they're in Alice in Wonderland.
No, King, I was cool. I got the peach.
Oh, see, there you go. You cool. I've been painting. It's been aggravating as all hell. Like, you saw my pants. Everything I own is covered in paint. Yeah. This move has been like groundbreaking, earth-shaking, star-making. We got a lot of games, Kev. Kyle Pitts scored a touchdown already, so I'm happy with that. The Falcons are already up, 17-3?
Just went into the half. It's 20-3. I've been watching that game this morning. It's like Kyle Pitts coming out party because the Falcons have no wide receivers. But what I don't understand is it would seem even easier to get them the ball when they do have their wide receivers because they have that really good number one you guys always talk about that I don't really like too much, who could draw some coverage away. But I don't know why it took everyone being out. Ridley, I'm joking there, but why it took him being out for Kyle Pitts to get the ball. But he would have been a great first touchdown score bet today.
He's looking good. He's got 6 catches for 64 yards and a touchdown. Let's bring in, as always, to help us this week, Master Damas, Matt M1. What's up, Matt?
Gentlemen, just ecstatic over a great. You know how much I love boxing, and that fight was probably one of for the ages. And I was telling King before the show started that one thing I love in just sports in general is hating an athlete and then almost becoming a fan of them. Like, I'm not a fan of the person of Deontay Wilder, but boy, oh boy, did he show a lot of grit and determination last night. Hot of a lion, really wanted to become champion again. I hope that's not the last we hear of him. I think he's going to take a little rest, build his resume back up. But boy, oh boy, that was a different Deontay Wilder that we saw last night. Great fight.
Yeah, I'm not going to add to that because we'll end up in a gigantic boxing conversation. But
we got a lot to talk about today. Yep.
Yeah, that fight went the ways of basically what we said if you listen to us. We kind of call that fight also. So we're going to get into some games. I'm loving it. All right, let's start some 1 o'clock. You know, not only about today. Today they only got 4 o'clock games. I don't like that. I don't like when it's thin at 4 o'clock. I like having games, multiple games at 4. But here we go. Now, let's just review for a second. Kev, last week you had probably the best week you've had in a long time. Would we agree to that?
Killed it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's pay close attention to what Kev says, but then also close attention to what Master Damas says. And you can listen to me when it comes to the NFC East. Let's go Miami Dolphins going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Matt, the Bucs are favored by 11.5 over the Dolphins at home. The over-under is 48. What I see is a team in the Dolphins that stinks. And I see Brady wanting to just lump somebody up. What do you think of this, Matt?
I look at common opponents, and I think that you also get a gift because I'm hearing Tua could play today. So when you look at Miami and New England, they're basically the same team. Miami presents more challenges defensively, but Brian Flores is kind of losing that team. There's something up with that squad. Mike Gesicki is hot. The Tampa Bay Bucs defense is not good. They're minus 3 corners. They got a Richard Sherman who was picked on last week by Kendrick Bourne. I think Miami covers that spread. If you like Miami, you can tease them up to getting 17 and a half. I think that's a gimme. But I do like Miami to cover that spread. I just don't think Tampa Bay is that good right now to where they can blow anybody out by 11 points. I just don't.
All right. Kev, your thoughts?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything Master has said. The only thing I'll add is I think if you were going to look for a team that could copy what the Patriots did to the Bucs, it would probably be Miami. Like they could probably play that same type of defense since Flores is a disciple, and I'm sure that obviously everyone thinks now that's the way to slow down the Bucs offense. So I think Miami could do it. As Master said, they have problems on offense. Whether it's Tua or Brissett, can either one of those guys really attack the Bucs cornerbacks? That's the weakness with the Bucs, right? Their cornerbacks are in shambles. But anyway, that spread is so big, 11.5, and I think Tampa Bay's probably a little bit of letdown after the New England game. They probably just want to get out of Dodge with a win. So I bet I would go Miami, and I would probably go the over. Although it is, I'll go Miami in the over.
I'll go with the over also. Yep.
All right. It looks like I'm going to be Johnny Difference. I'm going to take the Bucs minus 11. I know it's giving a lot of points. I know it is. But I just think Miami stinks. They stank and they stunk. In other words, what Matt just said, that he is kind of losing that team. So I can see the Bucs winning by like a mercy killing of 14. But I'm going to go Bucs in the under. Kev, going over to the next game for you. Philly goes over to Carolina. Carolina's at home favored by 2.5. The over-under is 46. I already know where I'm going on this bet, but you can.
Yeah, this is a weird one because like what Matt said about common opponents is a good way to look at things. And both of these teams look good to start the season. Philly got hit with some injuries. Carolina lost CMC. Now they lost J.C. Horn, and so both teams kind of reeling with injuries. Both teams play Dallas. Dallas smokes both teams. Everyone thought the Carolina defense was for real until they until Dallas lit them up. So it's going to be kind of a game where you kind of find out which team is for real. I like Hurts, especially as a fantasy quarterback. Like he's able to move the ball. He's able to put up fantasy points. But Philly hasn't looked good. Philly hasn't looked good in recent weeks. They are getting some players back. So all that said, I am going to lean to Philly on this one. I'll give. I'll take the 3. I was seeing 2.5, so I'm glad it's back up to 3.
Yeah,
so I'll take 3 with Philly, and I'm going to go with the under.
Yeah, I have 2.5. What do you like, Matt?
I was gonna roll with Carolina, but I'm right there with Kevin. I just feel like there's a trap here in this spread. I think there's a lot of traps today, but I feel like Philly takes this game, and I walked away from it, and that's for a good reason. And it's funny because a lot of these weeks when we walk away from certain games, they end up going the way that we feel, but we don't take them. It's like we're scared to go away towards the games that we walk away from. There's a trap with that spread, and I think it runs with Philly. I don't know about the over. What is the over under?
46.
Let's go under because Carolina does have somewhat of a defense, and then Jalen Hurts still has his issues. But Devontae Smith has been looking decent. I would say Philly in the under.
All right, hear me out on this then. First of all, the trap in this spread is that it's only 2.5/3 because Carolina is going to win by more than that. They're going to go over 46 because Philly is going to score probably 14, 17 points. But Philly, without a defensive line, a healthy defensive line, Carolina is going to light them up. It's going to be a high-scoring game, and the Panthers will definitely cover by 2.5. So, again, I guess it's unfortunate I have to go on the opposite of you guys, but I can't not go with this pick because this is going to be a lock. Next game is New Orleans at Washington. Matt, New Orleans is favored by 2.5 at Washington. The over-under is 43.5. Now, the first question I'm going to ask is this, Matt. New Orleans played the Giants last week. The Giants defense played really well, right? If they didn't play really well, New Orleans would have scored up a bunch more points. Now, Washington's defense has not been playing very well. They've got the guys, but they haven't been playing very well. I see New Orleans scoring a bunch of points on Washington. What are your thoughts, Matt?
I do like the over in this game. I think both defenses have shown that they have let points up. I think the biggest victory. Well, there's two good victories from the Saints this year. Green Bay Week 1, and I do like the Saints victory over the Patriots. But I think the Patriots played themselves into a loss that game. There was a lot of plays in that game that could have made it a lot closer than it should have been. But I like Washington at home in the Oval.
All right, Kev, what do you think? I mean, I still see the Saints scoring a ton of points.
Yeah, this is a weird game. You know, just one thing to kind of make comment on something that Matt said in the last game. Like, there's a lot of games this week where I'm kind of just passing on them. Like last week, I saw a lot of things kind of clearly, and this week with the spreads and the matchups, it's not a ton of things that are completely obvious to me. And this game is one of the question marks. Like who are the Saints and who is the football team? You know, I think Sean Payton's doing like a really good job down there with no offensive weapons. He's got really one weapon with Kamara. And Washington was supposed to come in with this great defense, and Fitzpatrick was supposed to stabilize the offense. Well, the defense is playing well below expectation, and you got Heineke, who is almost like a mini Fitz, where he takes a lot of risks and he makes a lot of bad throws, but he can move the ball when they need to. So I will not be betting this game, but if I had to make a pick, you know, for this, I would go Saints with because I was seeing 2.5. So I would go Saints on this one. I just think they're going to play a more disciplined game, and I would go under.
Kev, I am going to go with the Saints with you, but I am going to go with the over. I don't see Washington beating the Saints. I just don't think the defense will stand up. All right, next game, Kev, stay with you. There's one that doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. Tennessee's favored by 4.5 at Jacksonville. Over under is 48.5. Now that line, that spread right there, says so much.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. 4.5 for Tennessee. Kev, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I bet this early in the week. This is probably one of the few games that I went a little bit heavy on. And I bet Tennessee -4 on Sunday night. That was before all the Urban Meyer stuff came out. Now, you're going to get this is a funny one because you could talk about the football and you could talk about the narratives. You know, football side, Tennessee gets A.J. Brown back. They're going to have obviously Derrick Henry. So their offense will be functioning better than it did last week. Jags don't have a great defense, so Tennessee should be able to put up points. On the other side of the ball, I think Trevor Lawrence is kind of getting better every week. And I don't think he's going to be. I think he's not going to be a disappointment at all. He's doing a lot. He's making a lot of line calls, all that stuff. So he's growing. But the Jags lost Chark, which is a hit. It ups Laviska Shenault's stock, but I think losing Chark is a hit there. But I think I think the Tennessee overall is a better team. Then you add the Urban Meyer stuff in, and there's all this talk about losing the locker room and possibly looking to fire him for cause, and him possibly taking a sabbatical after the bye. So I think the Jags are just a mess. So with that, I'd still take Tennessee at 4.5. And I would actually go with the under 48.5 is what I'm seeing.
Matt, what about you?
This is the lock of the week for me, and I'm on the other side. I got the Jacksonville Jaguars covering that 4.5. I just believe that Tennessee has a much worse defense than the Jaguars. Everybody's scoring a ton of points on Tennessee. I think that continues today. And you're going to see, like Kevin said, Trevor Lawrence have a really good day. I have him in DFS today too, and I did that like at the end of last week. I loved Trevor Lawrence today, and I paired him with Laviska Shenault. I think Marvin Jones has a good day. Jaguars have an awful run defense. I love the over in this game, and I love Jacksonville getting 4.5.
All right. Kev, I'm going with you. I don't see how Tennessee is not favored by more than that. Jaguars are a total mess. I mean, would they rally behind their coach today to get a win, to try to get that out of the media, like to get?
I think that they're rallying. I think they're going to rally for their own team. I think Urban Meyer is kind of almost outside the fold, and that 4.5 is the reason why I'm running with the Jacksonville Jaguars as my lock. I think that spread should be a lot bigger, and I think it's inviting to take Tennessee.
Kev, you hear what I'm saying on that though? How that one's a little weird like that.
Yeah, exactly. It could go one way or the other. They could just, like you said, rally and be
You
like,
want to get it out of the news. The best way to get it out of the news is get a win.
yeah. But this is a game where, like what Matt just said, and we've been talking about, like the spread. Whenever the spread doesn't make sense, there's something bigger going on that we don't understand. Like you would think if Tennessee is a better, arguably Tennessee is the better team. Just let's just say that arguably, like they're not leaps and bounds better, but they're probably slightly better. And Jacksonville is in disarray. Why isn't this line 6.5, 7.5, something like that? Instead, it's stuck at 4.5, and there's a reason for that. And M1's usually got a good nose for these kind of games. So I wouldn't be surprised if I get smoked on this one, and Jags went outright somehow.
I have a huge nose, and it smells far away.
I'm gonna ponder this for the rest of the show, but as of now, I still like Tennessee. Kevin, I'm gonna go under.
Yeah, I bet Tennessee already. I'm not gonna undo my bets. I'm not gonna try to hedge out of it or anything. I'm gonna ride with it and hope that my instincts are right. But if they're not, and Mr. Never Left strikes this week, I won't be totally surprised.
There you go. All right, so Matt, I'll give you Detroit going to Minnesota. Detroit is getting 10, so Minnesota's favored by 10. The over under is 49.5. What are your thoughts on this game?
Such a tough spread because it's 10, but I'll roll with the Vikings because Kirk Cousins has just looked so good, and Detroit defense has just looked so bad. I think that Detroit has been feisty this year, but they've had a lot of really tough losses, and it's almost time for that team to just start hanging their head. They got Jared Goff, he's been traded because he's just not a good game manager. He's not smart with the ball. There's been times, and throughout his career, there's been times when you're like, wow, that's the reason he was the first overall pick. And then there's times when you're like, wow, that's why you got traded. Kirk Cousins is just very consistent. He's got the nucleus around him. I like the Vikings with the points, minus the points, and I love the over.
All right, Kev?
Yeah, this is a tough spread. It's a big number. I'm glad that Matt Strong's brought up the fact that Detroit might be folding, because I was kind of thinking the same thing. You can only like everyone knows that they're probably one of the least talented teams in the NFL, and they're making these games close. And they lost the heartbreaker on the Tucker field goal. They were up on Green Bay, but I just don't think they have the talent to keep doing that. And I think eventually, what you are kind of settles in. And I think the Vikings are a better team than their record and almost how they looked at some of these games, because Cousins is having a great season. The two wide receivers there having good years. They got Dalvin Cook, even if he's a little dinged up. They got Madison backing him up. They have a lot of good pieces there. The defense will perform better. I don't think Zimmer is going to kind of screw us 2 years in a row and put out a bad defense. So it's a lot of points. I've used them in a couple of teaser legs to get it down to something more reasonable earlier in the week, like from 9 down to 6 or something like that. 10 to 4 is not a great tease, but if you can still find it at 8.5 or 9, I would use them as a teaser leg and all over the place. But going with 10, I'm going to go Vikings, and I'm going to go with the over.
So I also agree with that. Minnesota will win by more than 10. So I'm going to go with all of you. The whole group of us, and I want the over.
Where is Brother Ray?
He's in Syracuse with nephew Jacob.
I need him.
So listen, Denver versus Pittsburgh, Kev. Denver's going in Pittsburgh, favored by 1 point. The over-under is fantastic. It's 39.5.
Yeah.
39.5. What are your thoughts on that game?
This is another weird. Like, this is another one where I probably won't bet this game. Like, the spread is so low. If you're gonna bet, if you're gonna bet it, you might as well bet the money line. If you're gonna go with the underdog, forget the point. The Steelers, everyone's trashing them. Everyone's kind of all over how bad Big Ben is, all that stuff. But Denver's got problems of their own now. They got Bridgewater is hurt. I don't. Is he playing? Do we know for sure one way or the other?
Not sure. I think he is trending upwards.
Okay, so if Bridgewater plays, Denver's got a shot, but they have with all the injuries to the receivers, they have some problems there. I could see this as kind of a game where Pittsburgh surprises everyone. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Obviously, you got two really good defenses, but I think the Steelers are somehow going to pull this one out. I think this one's got like one of those weird Mike Tomlin Big Ben rally games kind of written all over. But I don't have a lot to back it up like analytics wise. It's just kind of a feeling. So I won't be betting it. But for the sake of this show here, I'll go Pittsburgh and I will go the under, even though it's only 39.5.
What I will give you is this, Kev, before I kick it over to Matt. This definitely looks like one of those games that could go absolutely either way. It could be a blowout from either side, or it could be a close game. Like, because what has Denver showed us? Like, I can't really identify Denver completely.
Yeah.
And Pittsburgh is a mess. So we don't know what we're going to get from Pittsburgh. They've got receivers all day. They get Najee, but what? So it's like, who's a better team? And you look at who they lost to. And I look at who the Broncos beat, and I look at who the Steelers beat and who they lost to. And I got to go with the Broncos because at the core of it, Big Ben is a mess. And that team is not the same. So I got to go Broncos -1 and the over on 39.5. Matt?
The Jester is going to go against the King, and that doesn't really bode well when a Jester goes against the King. But I just feel like the refs really screwed Pittsburgh last week. This is a funny league. I think Pittsburgh should have been in that game last week a lot closer than they were. That blocked field goal really, really stunted them. But I think Pittsburgh is showing signs of life, and I think right now Denver's kind of trending them down. I think that the score will be 20-10 under Pittsburgh wins.
All right, you guys both go with Pittsburgh. I go with Denver. All right, Kev, Green Bay is going to Cincinnati. Green Bay is favored by 2.5. Over under is 50.5.
Yeah, this is another one. Like you hear the names of these two teams, and you go by sort of your preconceived notions. You think, wow, Green Bay is a great team. The Bengals are the Bengals. The spread should be bigger. The fact that it's only 2.5 again tells you a lot about the game. Obviously, since he has a real chance, Green Bay is going to be without Jair Alexander for the rest of the season, which is very, very problematic for them, especially when you go against the Bengals with their wide receivers. They could be in for a long day on defense, and I think the Bengals defense is better than people give them credit for. I think they're playing well. So the Bengals, I think, are probably overall at least a match with Green Bay, and they're getting 2.5 at home. But all that said, I'm going to go with the Rodgers factor. I'm going to go like kind of contrarian to what I would, everything I just said would say pick the Bengals, right? But instead, I just think somehow Rodgers pulls this one off, and I'm gonna go Green Bay -2.5. I'm gonna go over 50.5. But I am not putting any money on this game.
Kev, me and you are opposite on almost every pick, and it's terrifying me. I like Cincinnati in this game. I think Cincinnati can score with the Packers. I really do. I think they can keep up with them to the very, very end and maybe pull out a win. Actually, I'm expecting the Bengals to win today. And I appreciate, Kev, that you say Bengals. Because a lot of people say Bengals. Matt, I'm not pointing any fingers. A lot of people say the Bengals. Matt, who do you like in this game? Packers or the Bengals?
It's funny you say that because I had a buddy go to the casino and he walked me off of my bets, and he kept on telling me how Aaron Rodgers is going to do this, and I don't like Green Bay today, but I got walked into them, and I'm wondering how that's going to happen because, like I always say, the spread kind of tells it all. It's inviting to everybody to put money on Aaron Rodgers. I can see the Bengals winning this game outright, and I can see me losing that side of that bet. Over.
So you're going against your prior bet this morning?
I don't like it. But I just sided with him because the kid wouldn't shut up, and he was walking into the casino with me for me, and I liked a lot of other things, but he was telling me, "Oh, Green Bay's a lock. Green Bay's a lock." I'm like, "All right, I'll trail you."
Wow. Kev, let me ask you this. Do you ever make last-minute changes to your picks? Do you ever have a feeling come over you and you immediately just change it?
Yeah, I hate when that happens. I try not to go with that because usually your first instinct is kind of where you want to be, and also if you've done analysis on it and everything, you kind of go that way. But every once in a while, the last second, you get swayed, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's emotional. Sometimes and I guarantee none of us are writing down when that happens and whether it's working or not. So that's why I try to avoid that.
I look at it like this. Last week, I really liked Detroit big time. That was who I thought was my lock. And I didn't like the other side of my parlay, which was the Packers over Pittsburgh. And it ended up being the opposite spectrum. So it could be. But I do look at that. I do look at that Green Bay Cincy game as a toss-up completely.
Yeah, my biggest thing is when I change my mind at the last second, I now have to deal with my mind telling me, ooh, shouldn't have changed it.
Yeah.
Now, once you flip flop, you keep perpetually flip flopping in your head about it because it doesn't sit right, which I hate. All right, moving on to the last 1 o'clock game. New England -8 going into Houston. The over under is 39. I really like New England in this game. Isn't that weird? I like New England to win by more than 8 against Houston. I feel like they might let Mac throw the ball more, like let the offense breathe a little bit. Like that's what I'm hoping. But Matt, what do you like?
Well, I'm glad that you feel that way. I hope that's the way it happens. But they're missing 4 out of their 5 offensive linemen. All the fantasy prognosticators are saying that. What up, Jake? They're saying that they're going to be able to run the ball today. They haven't been able to run the ball all year long. They're the second worst, behind Pittsburgh being the worst, running the ball. I think the play of the day in this game is the under. I could see Houston covering that spread. I'm not going to be participating in this side, either side. I would go with Pats covering the 8. Sure, they probably win by 10 or more. I'd say Pats in the under.
Kev?
Yeah, I like everything Matt said. I agree with the injuries on the New England offensive line are significant. Let's just say, and on the Houston side, I don't like Davis Mills. You guys know that I know Matt and Brother Ray had some positive things to say about him, but he does not look like an NFL quarterback. Right now at the moment, Houston has scored like 16 points in the 11 quarters he's been playing. So I think that says a lot about kind of where they are. And obviously,
good stat, Kevin.
What is it? 17 points.
Good stat. That's a good stat to know. I didn't know that. That's a good stat.
Yeah. So, and Belichick's going to load up on him and try to confuse him. So, it's a big number, especially with the way New England's been playing. They haven't really, their biggest win was that 25-6 game against the Jets, but I think they cover it. I bet New England first half -4. I figure that's maybe a little bit of a safer bet because they get up 10-0. They kind of squeak through the first half 10-0. That covers. And then if the Jets get if the Texans get a field goal towards the end and kind of get it to 7 instead of 8.5, you kind of lose on a backdoor cover. But all that said, I'll go with the Patriots, and this one seems to scream under. I'll go Patriots and I'll go under.
Yep, that's where I'm at with that one too. Let's keep it at Patriots in the under. I think Mac Jones has a decent day today. How about that? Going on to the 4 o'clocks, we have the Chicago Bears, they are a hot mess. That's a bad team right now. Going into the Raiders, who are a bad team right now because now Gruden's in trouble for a racist comment. There's all this stuff going on. Like he's another guy like Urban Meyers in the sense that they bring so much negative attention. Like, are they worth having? No, I don't think they are worth having as coaches. But gosh darn. So the Raiders are favored by 5.5 at home. Kev, the over/under is 46. Who do you like?
Yeah, this is a tough one. I like 5.5 is a weird number because key numbers in football 3, 6, 7. So whether it's 3.5 or 5.5, it doesn't really matter that much. So it's a weird. I always get a little leery when a spread settles in on a number like this. 5.5. What is that? But anyway, I think the Bears are a hot mess. They did name Fields the starter going forward, so at least that's kind of settled. But I don't think they're a great team. I don't think Nagy's a great coach. At least he's not calling plays anymore, so that's a plus. But then on the other side, you have the Raiders, who started off the season so hot, and then they go and play San Diego, and Gruden called a terrible game. He called it an absolutely horrible game. They were running the ball first down, second down, and then again on third down. And instead of passing on early downs like they had been doing before. So I don't know what to expect here. Like the sort of narrative-driven person to me screams Raiders. I think they're the better team. But I'll be staying away from this game. If I had to bet it, I would just lay the 5.5. Like I said, it's a weird number, and I would go on the over 45.5.
Matt, who do you like?
Tough spread. I've been pretty good with the Raiders thus far this year, except for the Chargers game. I judged them wrong, but like Kevin said, it was a pretty bad game plan by Gruden. I'm gonna go Bears. What's the over/under on this one?
46.
I'm gonna go over.
All right. Going on to Cleveland at the Chargers. Matt, the Chargers are favored by 2 at home, which doesn't seem like that much, right? With a banged up Baker Mayfield. But favored by 2, over/under is 46. What do you think?
I'm going to go with the Browns here. I agree. I think that spread is inviting to people looking at the Chargers. And I think this is a letdown spot for the Chargers, and it's also a spot for the Browns to go, we're not done with being one of the dominant teams in the AFC. I'm going to go Browns, win the game outright. And what was the over-under?
46.
Over. It's an over.
Kev?
Yeah, this is going to be, probably, I guess, second best game of the week. I can't wait to watch this one. You got 2 teams that are obviously trying to make a statement in the AFC. You got, Cleveland with their defense is great, but I think the Chargers defense is really good also. So I think that's going to be cool. It's going to be cool to watch the defensive side of the ball. I think the Chargers offense has more firepower than Cleveland's does. I think Herbert is, especially with the condition of Baker's shoulder, I think Herbert is, obviously the better quarterback there. But Cleveland's got that really strong running game. So this is going to be kind of a good one to watch. Kind of the strength against strength stuff is going to be great. But I think this is a game where the Chargers are going to kind of make a statement. And the other thing is you got 2 great coaches. Stefanski has done wonders in Cleveland, and Brandon Staley looks like the real deal in LA. So this game has it all. So if you're not watching this game at 4 or 5, you're probably like Leprey and you're watching the Giants game. But anyway, I would say Chargers are going to pull this one off. The spread is low, but I think they make a statement today. I think that the Cleveland Browns offense doesn't have the firepower right now with Baker hurt and Landry out to keep up. And I'm going to say the over.
So who did you take, Kev?
Chargers.
Matt, you took the Browns.
Brownies.
I like the Chargers myself and the over. Now, Kev, to the next game that you were trying to poke fun at me about, which happens to have also your favorite team, so I don't understand that dig in the first place. The New York Football Giants travel to the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are favored by 7. The over-under is 53. I would like to go first. Here we go. Right as of now, like the Cowboys to win by 7.
Oof.
And I think it's an under. Here's why. What's his face? Thomas, the left tackle, has been limping all week, and it's been nonstop maintenance. But every time they show him walk into like the next practice drill or the next whatever, he's always limping. Now he's going to play today, and Andrew Thomas has been like a big key ingredient. Like him solidifying the left side has made Daniel Jones look like. By the way, Daniel Jones is what? The second-rated quarterback, PFF behind Tom Brady. He's got he's like all in these categories. It's like, yeah, because no one's knocking him on his ass. So if Andrew Thomas is to play, he is going to start. Here's my thing. I'm going to save. I'm not going to bet this game till right before it, because is it one of those ankle things where you can numb it up, Kev, and it won't hurt for the game? Or, Matt, is it like a structural thing where even if you numb it up, it's still going to hurt? You know what I'm trying to say? So I'm trying to figure out what they can do as far as modern medicine to shoot up that ankle and Novocaine it. You know what I mean? Just make it numb. Will that help? Like, what do you guys think about this game? And what do you think about that? Dallas set by 7-53.
I think this is the game of the week. And when you have a game of the week, it means, first, it's a divisional game. Giants are failing themselves. They're coming off a good, solid victory. I like the Giants. Not only do I like them, I love them to cover the spread. I think they could win this game outright. I feel that the 7 is way too much, especially being a divisional rivals. The G-men know the Cowboys very well. They're out to prove themselves, and this is the opportunity for them to do it. 7 points is just way too much in this game. Like I said, I like the G-men. They could possibly win this game outright.
See, Kev, that's what sways me, because I'll be honest, you're a Cowboy fan, I'm a Giants fan, and I'll tell you right now, the Cowboys are a much better team, but yet I still feel like we have a puncher's chance of going into Dallas and winning that game. And I don't know what it is about it. Maybe the defense has been playing, they're young and they've been playing like, I don't know, advantageous. And Daniel Jones is still like a mystery because with Barkley, and now they got Slayton come back today, Shepard. So I'll have Slayton, Shepard,
Ingram,
Galladay, Kadarius
Tony, John Ross.
Like he has like 6 or 7 guys deep. This is the best weapons the Giants have ever had, ever. Like all together, from Saquon all the way to the wide receivers. They've never had at one point better group of players at the same time. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. So what do you think, Kev? Though?
Yeah, this is you guys kind of hit on it, but first thing I'll say before I get to comment directly on what you said there. Like, this is what the Cowboys are. Like, this is a perfect letdown game for them where you got Jerry Jones. Somehow with Jerry Jones and the recent coaches they've had, they always blow games like this. So it's going to be kind of like, if you're for real, you got to win a divisional game convincingly, especially at home. Remember, this game is in Dallas. So I think I think that has to mean something here. Now, a couple of interesting things. Right now, I'm looking at the cash numbers. 89% of the money is on Dallas -7, which is crazy because New York is a very public team. The Giants are a very public team, and they get a lot of public money. And 90% of the money is on Dallas money line. So it's absolutely nuts how one-sided one-way traffic this game is.
It's a left tackle. It's a left tackle.
Now, the other thing you said, you listed all the Giants' weapons. You could pair them up 1-for-1 with the Cowboys' weapons, and Dallas is better at every single one of those positions you just said, except for arguably running back. You could say, is Saquon better than Zeke and Pollard? You can argue that he's probably more dynamic, but you look at wide receiver 1 versus wide receiver 1 versus wide receiver 2 versus 2, the 2 tight ends in Dallas versus Ingram. I think all the weapons, both teams have them, but I think Dallas's are slightly better. So,
can I say something?
Yeah.
I think at quarterback, the Giants might be a little bit better. It's just yet to be completely proven.
Yeah,
and the Giants have everybody on defense in order to cover those weapons for the Cowboys.
They're very fast. Yeah, the Giants have a lot of.
They have a great back end. They have a great back end.
Yeah.
I feel like this is kind of it's divisional for one, which I think for right off the bat that 7's way too much, and the Cowboys are in a perfect letdown spot, like you were saying, Kevin. I like the Giants today.
Kev, finish your thought.
All that said, this is why it's going to be a good game. The matchups are going to be amazing. If the Giants defense can't shut down the Cowboys' weapons, and they can't scheme, Dawson Knox and Blake Jarwin running wide open because everyone's focused on the wide receivers, it could be a long game for Dallas. But I agree, New York has a puncher's chance. I'm using Dallas more as a teaser, teasing it down to -1 than an actual bet. But picking this one, I am going to go Dallas with the -7, and I'm going to go. I'm going to go over. You guys have convinced me with all the weapons that this was going to be an over.
Well, Kevin, that's what makes me like the Giants in this game because they're in the perfect teaser situation. And as we always see each week, if you look at the teams that you're like, that's a great teaser area, I think that's a trap. They do it on purpose. And I think that today, teasing down Dallas is a trap.
So here's the thing.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The Giants' backfield is Adoree Jackson, is James Bradbury. Those 2 cornerbacks right there are money in the bank. Then you got Logan Ryan, Jabril Peppers, Xavier McKinney. Like, those are your safeties. Like, and Matt, that's also probably the best defensive backfield the Giants have ever had, or talent-wise.
And possibly in the NFL. I think you see Dak throw a pick or 2 today. I would lean towards 2.
Where I think we're going to get screwed, though, is the tight end spot. No Blake Martinez. So they're going to put they can't put RJ, what's his face, the guy from the Vikings. He's more of a big guy that rushes. So I'm trying to think about who they're going to have as that smaller linebacker that can keep up with the tight ends.
But with saying that, King, they're going to miss Jalen Smith today. Bad move for today, maybe over the long term. Keeping the nucleus together. Like I said, you want to remove cancers. I don't know what it was. I guess it was more of a contractual thing with Jalen. But I think that they need him today, even though he wasn't playing the best pass coverage, that he's been known for. I think they're going to miss him today.
All right. See, here's what I think, though. I'll give you this. This is something I would definitely put money on. Watch what Parsons does today. Micah Parsons might have 2 sacks and a friggin' interception. I think he gets back to the middle and dominates. He's going to be a really tough son of a bitch for the Giants to deal with because the Giants' offensive line is rough against that second wave of attackers. In other words, they hit the defensive linemen and they solidify the line. But when the linebackers and the blitzers are coming through, it's tough for them to pick it up. Barkley's not the greatest at it. And Micah Parsons is a beast. He can't wait to play inside. So I would honestly put first sack, Micah Parsons. I think he's going to have that kind of impact. We'll see.
I would go first touchdown, Evan Ingram.
That's a shocker right there.
Right? But it's going to have great odds. I think the outside on both teams are going to be covered well. And then you're going to forget about the tight ends of the Giants. And a lot of these times when you see the favorite, you see the underdog score first. I've had that conversation with Kevin. The way the game starts, not the way the game ends. Giants score first and watch for Evan Ingram.
Kev, is there a way to bet on who'll drop the first third down catch?
I don't think so. But
I would put him in on every game. Who's going to drop the first third down easy catch off his hands? I'd put Evan Ingram for and he was an all-pro last year. I still don't get that joke.
He's got tremendous burst, though. He really does. He separates well. If he could shore up his hands, he'd be dynamic. I think there's a lot of pressure off him now that he doesn't need to be the focal point. He was basically the number one last year. They were trying to soak it to him. Now they don't have to. He'll be forgotten about in this offense.
You want to know the biggest issue about the 7 points is that both of these teams, if they have to, could probably score a bunch of points and stay competitive. And they always play each other competitive. So why I have a problem, I guess, with the 7, as we're talking this through, is that I can see our Cowboys winning 27-21 and it only being 6, 27-24 by a field goal, something like that, right? Or the Giants squeaking one out. But it's not going to be more than 7, I don't think, either way.
I agree.
Unless I'm crazy. I just think it might end up being within 7 either way.
Giants win 34-31.
All right. Game and a half. Last 4 o'clock game. Frisco going to Arizona. -5 is Arizona. The over-under is 48.5. Let me just first start off by saying these two fan bases and where they're located, their teams, they're just not tough at all. I don't like their fans. Sorry, people in San Francisco and Arizona. You're a bit boring to me as fans. Your uniform choices are off. I don't like the way your teams have always played football. The passing stuff. But I like Arizona to win by more than 5 at home. I'm not sure about the over-under, but that's what I'm going to go with. Matt?
This is one of my locks of the day. I got Arizona's defense up against San Fran's offense all day long today. 5.5. Give it to me. Trey Lance is going to come in. I think he's going to look good. He is a dynamic player. I just don't know if this is the game that you want him starting and expecting to do big things against that defense. They have the coverage to take away Debo. There's not much else out there. You got no George Kittle today. He's out. He's on the IR. He's been playing injured anyway. Brandon Ayuk has been Patrick Swayze. I say it a lot. Patrick Swayze and Ghost. He's been missing. I think that you see Trey Lance kind of look human today, and Arizona continues their trend of looking very good. What's the over-under?
I'm sorry. It's 40.5.
See, I could see an over. I could see San Fran scoring like 20 points and Arizona scoring like 34. 34-20, give me.
Kev?
Yeah, a lot of what everyone said I agree with. I don't understand what's up with Brandon Ayuk. It's just a mystery to me what happened. He was supposed to have a breakout year. But on the other side of the coin, Deebo Samuel has looked great. I think Trey Lance, it's going to be great, very interesting to watch his first game, kind of see how great a scheme Kyle Shanahan can put together for him on offense. So I would expect to see some really cool production out of the 49ers early, but then I expect it to kind of fade as the game goes on. So I kind of did a little bit of a weird bet on this one. I bet San Francisco first quarter plus a half point. So figuring that if they start fast and they're doing stuff that the Cardinals haven't seen, they can maybe either tie the first quarter or even lead it to 3 or something like that. Kind of I usually don't bet first quarters in the NFL because it's just very hard to predict. But I figured this one would be an opportunity there. But I think the Cardinals are overall a better team, and I think that sucks because I had very high expectations for San Francisco this year. It seems to be kind of the same story as last year, just a little less severe with injuries and just people playing a little bit below expectations. And the Cardinals have been red hot. So I'm going to go Arizona for the game, laying the 5.5, and I'm going to go with the under.
All right.
I like that under. You know what? I could see an under because as soon as Arizona takes away the run, it's going to make things very difficult for Trey Lance. And I do like that first quarter thing because you're going to see the defense of Arizona really not know how to play Trey Lance. And I do like that first quarter. I like that. It's a good bet.
All right. Let me see what I got here. What did I miss? The Texans are there.
We made it through the pause, right?
No. I'm looking at my bets. I got to go over my. Trying to keep my stuff in order, guy. Going on.
What's your pick? Okay, you didn't comment on this game.
Yeah, no, I like the Arizona to win by more than 5 at home, and I'm going to go with the under. I think Arizona's defense smacks San Fran in the mouth.
Me too.
So let's go to the 8:00 game. Buffalo going to KC. That's a great game. That's a great game. Isn't it a shame that we don't know any quality sports like bars? Like everything's gonna be like a dive or something. We can't find like a sports bar. Kev,
Buffalo Wild Wings has all the games on, but
when I officially open up Bar Fangool in my basement, we'll have all the games on. Matt, you got to see it. It's got such potential as a bar. Kev, would you agree it has potential?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
As long as your daughter doesn't come in with like a butcher knife and starts like hitting all the light switches, we'll be good.
No, I hope not. She's learned her lesson. She's using a spoon now. All right, Kev. Kev, what do you think of Buffalo at KC? KC is favored by 3. The over-under is a whopping 56.5.
Yeah, that is absolutely nuts. I just hope this game lives up to the hype. Kind of everyone is really down on the KC defense, and I get why. They play like that. They take a lot of chances. They blitz a ton, and they've been getting, and it hasn't been holding up for entire games this year. Obviously the Chargers handled them, the Ravens. So you can't score a lot of points on the Chiefs. And right now everyone is high on Buffalo. I think Kansas City is going to take this as you want to be the king, you got to beat the king. It's in Kansas City, so the place is going to be absolutely insane. It's going to be like rocking. I don't think Josh Allen was as bad as he looked in the first game, but I also don't think he's as great as he's looked in the next couple. And I think I think defenses have figured out that Bills offense a little bit. It's forcing them to run a little bit more. So all that said, I think everyone wants to bet Buffalo. They want to see it as a change of the guard. But like last week, I forgot a couple of games where I think it was Carolina, Dallas, and then Denver, Pittsburgh, not Pittsburgh, Denver, Baltimore. It's like you gotta show me something first that you can beat the king. And I don't think the Bills can do it today. So I'm gonna go Chiefs, and I'm gonna go over, even though that number is absolutely nuts.
All right, Matty.
This is my lock of the day. This is a tale of two teams trending in opposite directions, right? Everybody's reminiscent of KC and what they've done. They're not a good team this year, and that defense is just not stopping anybody. Wrong time to walk into a Buffalo Bills offense that's just scoring a lot of points. and they have, like what you said, Kevin, they have that foot on the throat mentality. I look for Buffalo to win this game, and big. I'm taking Buffalo on the money line, and I like the over too. But my lock in this game is Buffalo.
So, Matt, you kind of look at it as a little bit like what LA did to Tampa, where the upstart knocks
Yes
off
and no, because the Rams were at home, so they had the home cooking there.
That's true.
But I look at KC as just not a formidable opponent this year. They're having a lot of bad losses, and they could be in a situation that they haven't been in yet as a team, and that's called panic mode. And I don't think that they have what it takes to match that Buffalo offense. I don't.
All right, guys. Here's my thoughts on this. Kev, I feel like watching KC right now reminds me of watching an older Patrick Ewing deal with his knees. Does that make any sense? Like you see the greatness
Absolutely.
in him. You know what he can do, but something's just not working. It's not clicking, and it's just something wrong with the giddy up of it. And I just feel like, you know what? I like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but I think he's the wrong fit for that team.
Me too.
I think that team needs like a big bruiser. They need a guy who can get those ugly yards to keep those other guys like fresh. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
He's too small.
Everything's too cute with that team.
He's too small. He can't bang it up in the middle. He cannot do that. Can't do it.
Kev, your thoughts on that? On Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
That's a really good point. Like if they had like a bruiser that they just hand the ball to and let the guy bring some pain to the defense, that would help a lot. I agree with that. Like they're a pure finesse team, and I've been saying this for weeks and weeks and weeks. They only have two legitimate weapons. They have Hill and Kelsey, and like that's enough most of the time. But it's catching up with them this season. Like who thought Sammy Watkins was so immensely valuable to them? It's like they lost him, and Hardman can't step up, and no one else can step up and fill that slot.
Kevin, Genius, there's a reason that they want to throw and throw and throw. Granted, Hilaire had 200 yards gains back to back, but they don't really trust their own run game, so they whip it. They throw the ball. That's why.
Shovel passes, for Christ's sakes.
Exactly. I think if this were a AFC Championship game and the season plays out the way it's going, I would probably go Bills. I just think that it's in Kansas City. The fans are going to be nuts. It's going to be Reed and Mahomes, almost like I want to say their last stand. That's a little too dramatic, but if they get blown out in this game, that they're completely exposed. So I think they really just bring something and hold on. But if I'm probably rooting for Buffalo, honestly. Just saying, and I'm not going to bet this game, but if I had to, I would do Kansas City.
All right, so a couple things. I like Buffalo in this game, but I don't like the over-under. I think it's so stupid. I'm not going to touch it. So I would probably say under, just to be safe, because it's so high. But I just like Buffalo in this game. But what I want to tell you is this. Right now, Cordarrelle Patterson is 0 for 1 passing. He's 12 carries, 53 yards, 5 receptions, 48 yards. Like, what the in crap hell happened in Atlanta where they got this guy doing all this stuff? You know, Kyle Pitts is 7 for 76 and a touchdown. On the
What's
Jets
the score
side,
on that game currently?
20-9. 8 minutes, 50, about 9 minutes left, 20-9.
Yeah, Jets scored early third quarter, and there's been nothing since then. And I bet the over on this. I think I bet over 43. It doesn't look like that's going to come home at this pace.
I can't find the passing stuff. All I got is Michael Carter, 3 for 20. Corey Davis, 2 for 17. Then on 11 yards, 7, 6, and 4. He's not even on the screen, the quarterback. What's going on with Zach Wilson? What are his stats? No, I mean, serious. He's not on the NFL.com screen. It doesn't show passer. Goes right to rusher.
Let me see. The Jets are on offense. Is he still in the game? Hold on a second. I'll look it up while you talk.
Yeah, well, I want to show you this because this makes sense.
I think the Jets score a late touchdown, 2-point conversion, 2017. I think they cover the spread.
That would be awesome. It's Wilson is 12 for 22, 95 yards, 1 interception.
All right, do you guys see the screen?
Yeah.
You make it out enough?
Yeah.
All right, this is the Falcons. See Matt Ryan, quarterback, passing, then rushing.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to the Jets. Where's the passing?
He just
That's what I'm
threw
trying to say. They skipped Zach Wilson. I'm like, how bad is he doing?
Yeah.
With these little passing things here that they don't even put him up in the stats.
and
pretty weird,
against
though, right?
the defense. Against the defense, he should be throwing the ball around on.
Yep.
They haven't had a good defense yet this year.
Is there a London British rule, Kev, that I'm not aware of? Like where they don't stop, it won't show Paperboy around stats.
I want to touch on something right now. There's reasons that Calvin Ridley is not playing today. It's personal reasons.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna go out on the ledge here and say he's not playing because he's unvaccinated.
Really?
That's what I think.
Huh.
Yep.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was his status.
So, Kev, let's go over fantasy football. Did Ray send you anything?
I didn't get anything from Brother Ray today.
I didn't either. I think he's slacking, like 100% slacking.
Well, I think that means he didn't get a chance to pick up with his guys because usually you notice that the guys that Brother Ray sends you on that list have all just been added to his team. He literally
he's scared. He's scared of the genius holding the matrix. Kevin's been hot as a barrel of fire, and he's like, I digress.
No, but that's the thing. Ray's not really a gambler. That's not Ray's thing. Ray is. I told you before. He is fantasy sports. Like
it's me and him this week in fantasy, and I'm gonna get him. Be a big victory for my shitty team.
Want to hear a great thing though about the legit fantasy league? We should talk about it really quick before we put our bets in. Kev, my son said to me, you lost Russell Wilson. You're gonna lose him for 8 weeks. I went, yeah. Thank God I took Tannehill in like the next round or something like that. Like, I'm so happy. I'm not happy that he's hurt, but I'm so happy that I did that whole plan of mine to get, if they were going to be those two type of quarterbacks together, get them both. It could pay off. I'm 4-0. I'm rolling already.
You knew he's a scramble. You knew he's a scramble, and you knew there's a chance. And this was the year that it happened. Usually he toughs it out. It's surprising to see Russell Wilson out with a finger for 48. But you were smart. That
happened to Phil Simms once when he threw the ball and hit the guy's helmet in front of him, cracked his finger open.
Drew Bledsoe.
So I'm playing I'm a problem. I don't know who that is. And they're projected to beat me by 16 points potentially because I only get 10 from Russell Wilson. But I have DK Metcalf, and I don't know who I got left. Dalvin Cook. I have to hope that he plays. Anybody have the status on Dalvin Cook?
It's not looking good for him. He's a game time decision. Looks like Alexander Madison's going to get the bulk of those carries, even if he does.
It stinks. All right, Kev, what do you got for parlays or teasers?
I didn't do any parlays this week yet. Like that's why I said last week. Like there were so many opportunities to that it just looked good to me. But just before we get into that, Mastradamus, you strike again. Jets just scored a touchdown, hit a 2-point conversion, and it's 2017.
Who scored for the Jets?
What?
Who scored for the Jets?
Michael Carter scored the touchdown, and the 2-point conversion was a pass play. And I didn't see it. Waiting for the replay, but it was a pass to one of the wide receivers.
Right. I'd love to see them win. Fucking
right now, please call me Mr. Never Left.
And I do want to clarify for everyone, there are 2 Michael Carters on the Jets. The one who plays offense and running back ran for the rushing touchdown. So.
Yeah. What did I say earlier in the show? The way the game starts is never the way the game ends. How many times have you been like, dude, I'm up 17-0, I won. And then you're like, what the truck?
So, yeah, exactly. Thank God, though, because we all get so down when we're losing. And one of the things there is don't do anything crazy in game. Let it play out for a little while. So for teasers, I liked. I told you guys before. I liked the Cowboys, but that's a tough one, as Matt said. I like the Vikings. I like the Patriots. Keep that one down. So those 3 were probably the ones I worked in the most. I did have the Seahawks in the mix, but obviously when Russell Wilson went out, that game just got away from them. So that was a tough one. But those 3 teams, the
wait a minute,
Cowboys, and
Geno Smith. I got a few of his rookie cards, and I'm selling them for $5,000 a piece.
Yep.
I'm not budging on my prices, dude. He looked better.
Good.
he looked better than Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson couldn't complete 2 passes in a row. And then Geno Smith comes in and leads them 98 yards. I can't wait to see what Geno does with that team.
Don't say that out loud, M1. If you say Geno Smith looked better than Russell Wilson, he's going to demand a trade immediately if he hasn't already.
Listen. Geno can take a long walk off a short pier. That's my feeling for Geno Smith. Geno Smith is the quarterback that dope of a coach stopped Eli Manning's career like Iron Man streak to start Geno Smith. Not a young quarterback we're going to be watching in the future. Nothing like that. Geno Smith. Eli, the best thing about Eli Manning was Sunday morning, come game time, he was there. He's in the huddle. That's no better feeling than your quarterback's going to be there every single day. And then they took that away from him by starting Geno Smith. I bet Stu hates him as much as I do, Kev.
Yeah, probably.
And for what he did to that franchise, that was brutal to see.
King, we talked about Monday night, I just realized, because that was the other teaser leg that I was heavy on, was the Ravens. The Ravens are -7 with the Colts. Move that down to -1. That's looking pretty good, I thought.
The Ravens are -7 at the Colts?
So I like the Vikings. Sorry, the Vikings, Ravens, Patriots are probably the teaser legs I use the most. But you could even throw in the Eagles from +3 to +9. You could throw in Miami, I think was the other one I used. Hold on a second. Let me check the other one. Yeah, like I said, the Patriots, the Ravens I liked. The Cowboys, again, the Vikings, and then just a weird one I did was the Eagles up to +9 and the Bills up to +9. I thought those would be at least kind of, I don't usually tease from +3 to +9, but I thought those were 2 good opportunities.
All right, let me review what I have on my docket. I have a 3-team parlay, the Giants +7, Arizona -5, Bills +3. So that's my 3-team parlay.
Wait, sorry, say it again, Mike.
Giants +7, Arizona -5, Bills +3.
Yeah.
My next one will be my 5-team parlay. Tampa -11, the Panthers -2.5, Saints -2.5, Titans -4.5, Vikings -10. Now my bomber parlays. I have a 4-team bomber. It's the Bengals, Texans, Giants, and Lions. That 14 parlay for $10 pays $1,400. The other one is a 6-team parlay. The Giants, Cardinals, Bills, Browns, Bears, Texans. 16 parlay for $10 pays $2,900. Just about $3,000. I can convince myself that all those bombers can win the game. That's why I get stuck on bombers. Like just that 4-team one, I can see the Bengals winning. I really can. I can see the Giants winning. I really can. And then the Lions, who knows? Who knows? It could happen. Same thing with the Texans and the Patriots. It could get ugly and stupid, and you might get a stupid win. So for a 14-team parlay, that's going to pay $1,500 roughly. I'll take it.
The Texans beat the Patriots, I think there'll be a meltdown at Gillette. Just the whole place will just implode into a sinkhole.
Do they care as much though, Matt? Patriot fans, are they caring as much right now?
I mean that fight against the Bucs showed that they do, but I do agree with you that I do think that there's a little bit of unattachment with the coaching staff and the players this year. I think that the players, I'll tell you right now, they can't stop the run. I think that's what the Texans are going to try and do. They got some running backs, so if they can bang it up in the middle, shorten the game, they could win that game. Absolutely, I do think the Texans cover that spread. Do they lose to the Texans today? Like Kevin said, we would see implosion, but it could happen. But I'm going to follow you on that 3-teamer, but I'm going to take the Bills on the money line, and I do like Zona and
the G-Men.
The G-Men. Yeah.
Kev, got anything you want to say? I wanted to say really quick. Tonight we have at 7 Legit Paranormal. Our guest will be Deb Brown. She's a medium that's worked with Buddy in the past. From what I heard, she's like one of the bigger ones that Buddy will bring in if he's got like a new thing that he needs somebody to feel what's going on in the area. And what's funny is Deb, I added her as a friend on Facebook. My friend list, paranormal wise, is up to 800. So
Yeah.
I added her, and she said she was nervous about the show tonight. Like I guess we're intimidating by the way that we do the setup, by the way we sit in our boxes and we ask questions. They're all, everybody's used to like sitting down and having. They used to having this conversation. Watch. So, tell me, Kev, when you first started to like football, was it in your childhood? Did you have any like? Did your dad make you like football, Kev? What? When did you start to like football?
Really?
That's kind of what they're used to on shows. We're more like this. So, you heard ghosts.
King, if I were you, I'd check out Becky Perron. She's the writer of the Conjuring, and she's very available. She makes herself available. She's right around the area,
Matt,
and I think that she'd be willing to.
We have the best paranormal booking person you can find.
No kidding.
People, I was talking to a couple paranormal people after the wrestling show, and they were talking about how Buddy gets such big names. He gets all like these big people, and it's made like the paranormal community want to watch our show because Buddy keeps getting us guests that it's weird. Me and Kev go through this phase. We don't know what to do with them, like right around now. The 4:00 games will end. We'll start. We'll start considering it. We'll talk around 6:15, and we'll come up with a game plan. Sometimes, though, the game plan is Kev going, I don't know really where to go with this, and I'm just like, all right, just tell me about them a little bit, and then I'm like, all right, let's go. Matt, here's a quick story I want to tell you about what the guy told us last week. I still can't get it off my mind. So he ends up going to like a gathering, right? And his ex-girl's there with her new husband. And there's a bunch of people. It's like I guess it's like they rented the house. They're gonna go like do stuff in the mountains and whatnot. I don't know. But the guy shows up. He won't wear a shirt. He's constantly shirtless, this other guy, right? So they make a big community stew. He gets a bowl, eats all the food, but takes the broth and puts it back in the community stew bowl. That's my face exactly. Now, Matt, I said
all of us just disgusted.
I said, why did you not tell him to stop? And he was like, well, I'm like, were there other guys with you? He's like, yeah. I'm like, why didn't you guys tell him to stop? And he's like, well, he's like 3 times my size. And I'm like, okay, why did you not tell him to stop? Like, I would take a beating over a pot of stew. I'm not even lying to you. Like if a pot of stew is there and one of you guys kept putting your broth back in it, we got to go. We got to throw hands. Like, that can't happen. You can't put your broth back in the stew.
If you were eating with a spoon and you put that spoon in the damn broth thing, I would be disgusted. Never mind you.
That'd be bad enough. That'd be bad enough. But worse would be
dumping it back in. Get out of here. Yeah, I don't care if you wear a shirt or not. I'm going to have to.
Yeah, I've told so many people that story. That's what I took away from a paranormal show. Was that
me too.
Story.
I just have to go throw up, basically. I cannot, like, now, King, it's in my head so much. When I have soup myself, I think about that story. It ruins the whole experience. I swear, it ruins the whole experience. Can you imagine just look? He must have looked at everyone. He's with his shirt off. So he's making a point. Just looked at everyone. Just like, bloop, and no one said a word.
Here's the thing. So this is why I get myself in trouble. I don't think that I'm tougher. Like, maybe he'd end up whooping my ass. There's a good possibility. I have a very crooked nose. However, I would at least throw hands if I had to protect the community stew. Like, I'm
the same way, Ken.
You're not doing that shit around me. You're not intimidating everybody.
If I could touch you or get a lick on you, that's all I care about. I don't care if I win or not. I just want to hurt you.
I'm going to segue this. I'm not big into intimidation.
Oh.
And in football, a lot of that goes on. Like, there's a lot of guys that scare the snot out of the offensive line, or vice versa. So I hope
you got to be a tough out, and I will make sure that you learn today.
yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. I'm going down with you. All right, last words, guys.
No, you just sucked the joy out of the whole day, because now I'm gonna be thinking about
shirtless men dumping brew bags.
But the only thing I will say is I'll say that, like M1 and I were talking about, if you don't like a lot of games, don't force yourself to bet them. Last week I had so much going action wise. This week I was all ready to do it again, And as you saw, as we talked through these games, it just wasn't a lot that jumped out. A lot of them I was like, I'll stay away. So stay away when you don't have something you like. There's going to be a lot more games to bet. So I'll leave it at that. And then just an update for you guys. The Falcons just scored. They're up 26-17. If they hit the extra point, my over will push. It's actually 44 instead of 43. So I hope they make this extra point, so at least I get out of it with a push at worst.
How much time left in that game, Kev?
2 minutes. 2:20.
More importantly, who scored the touchdown?
It was one of the Falcons running backs, Mike Davis. It was not Cordero Patterson, who, by the way, owes Bill Belichick probably 25% of his career earnings since leaving New England for getting turned into a running back. That was one of the coolest stories in the NFL, in my opinion.
Kyle Pitts is 9 for 119 in touchdown.
Yeah.
That's the coming out party right there for Kyle Pitts. That's a great sign. Matt, any last words?
Like Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, don't be a boxer. Don't be a fighter. Be a boxer. Like Kevin was saying, if you don't like something, don't be chasing it. Stick and move. Take the games that you like and move on.
And I'm gonna say, as far as fantasy, I apologize that Brother Ray did not send us any of his sits or plays. We'll have to publicly flog Brother Ray when we next see him. We'll all give him a beating. Maybe everybody gets one shot, one poke, just one poke. You can't wind up, and it's got to come from your shoulder here. So you just allow that. You can just hit him with a stiff jab. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. We all get a shot at him. It's gonna be a great day of games, Kev. We got a great paranormal show on tonight. My book is close to being done, which is a weird thing to say. Kev, it's so pretentious. I'm having a hard time with it. I keep telling my wife. To tell somebody that I have a book makes me feel very pretentious, and I don't like it. I do have. I'm gonna have one, but I don't want to be that guy that's like, I read my book.
Well, just don't have a bunch in the trunk of your car that you're offering to sign for people. Don't be that guy.
I got to know how to handle it cool. I'm trying to figure that out.
Don't be have you ever written a book?
No way. Cool. Don't listen to Genius. Everybody wants to support somebody that's doing something that they haven't done. Like, carry those books on you and say, hey, man, would you like to support? I think everybody likes to support somebody that's doing something.
It's a good book that deals with evil and good, hell and heaven, in a really kid type way of viewing what it would look like. Like, awesome. That's literally, I would think, why it's different, because I have a very kid-like mind. So the way I see things are like old school style of seeing things. So I think that's what people are going to appreciate about the book, is the old schoolness of it. That's
what I've always admired about you, King, is the way you were brought up by your father, and you do have an old school mentality, and that's lost in today's day and age. So if you can portray that, push it to other people, that's a lost art, and I think that's great. Very much.
I will second that, and I'll say the way you described it did not sound pretentious, so that's cool. Don't just start wearing like ascots and just happen to leave your book at the table when we're out to dinner, or slide it across the bar. Oh my God, did I forget my book here? Don't do stuff like that.
So, Matt, really quick, I appreciate that, but my dad was 5'3", but would take a brick to your face if he had to. My dad was so old school logic. It was that just one answer logic that you'd be like, oh, well, I'd be like, Dad, this guy would probably, he'd be like, well, take care of him, pop his tire. He would just give me old school, and again, he was never 100% like myself, a good guy. You know what I mean? He had that 1/4 bad guy, 3/4 good guy, which are my favorite good guys. The ones that aren't always good, the ones that they spin off the rail and then they come back and they do what's right.
I wear my heart on my sleeve. I try to be a very good person, but every good person has to have some bad in them. Has to.
Yeah, it's a positive and negative. All right, guys, get your bets in. I hope you have luck. I'll be honest. At the end of this, I can say I really hope the Giants win. I got a feeling like they could win. I really do. And it would make a great week for me to have a win over the Cowboys. I think we lost the last 7 of 8 against the Cowboys. Like, that's the one team in the NFC East we can't beat. So
how long will Kevin not speak to you?
I don't think he cares that much. I'll be honest. He's not a Cowboy fan like I'm a Giant fan.
Oh, don't say that.
I stopped.
He's reserved.
No, it's true.
I stopped. Matt, you and I talked about this. I stopped living and
This is
dying
WWE.
over professional sports teams. Like, they don't care anything about me. I'm not going to ruin my day when they lose. I'd rather have them win. Like, when the Patriots win a Super Bowl, I'm happy for about a day. When they lose a Super Bowl, I'm down for about a day. That's it. Like, you can't do that. Like, again, it's like Bronx Tale. Go see Mickey Mantle when your father can't pay his rent. See what he tells you. You know what I mean?
I'll be honest with you. When the Giants beat the Patriots when they were undefeated, that shit hurt for about 6 months. Still hurts now, but it hurt for about 6 months.
That was my last one. And when we talked about that, that was the last time I got 1,000% invested. Because I'm like walking around in a trance for a couple of days, and I'm like, I can't get bent out of shape like this to sports teams. If I thought the Giants had a better chance of beating the Cowboys, I would bet the Giants and happily collect the money and watch the Cowboys lose. If I thought that was a better bet.
So see,
It's about money.
There's the difference.
Yep.
I'm a Giants fan. Like, when they lose, I feel it for like almost the whole week. It's like Wednesday before I wear it off. But on the flip side of that, they've also given me 2 sports memories that I don't know how I'm going to ever surpass. First of all, that first Super Bowl, that Eli Manning Hail Mary to Tyree, all that went down. I just remember like looking around and thinking, holy shit, we won this. We won this. Like, no one, dude, I fought on local sports talk radio for 2 weeks straight because it was 2 weeks between the thing. And I was the only guy willing to come on with like Zoe and all those guys and talk about the Giants and tell them how the Giants had a chance. And
hey, Kevin, not to change the subject, but did the Jets go ahead?
No, they're driving. They are driving. They just crossed midfield, which Jets and driving usually doesn't.
And that was totally to change the subject.
Put it down by 10. You know what's funny is I'll give you that you did change the subject because right now I don't even remember what I was talking. Oh, I was talking about that.
Yes, good.
So listen, my favorite story about that is that I know a guy who flew his dad from Florida back to Rhode Island because he wanted to watch the Patriots go undefeated with his dad. They bought a $2,800 TV. He wanted the best TV possible to watch for him and his dad and their Patriot stuff to watch them go undefeated. I had actually ordered 2 T-shirts that were congratulations Super Bowl champs 19-0. I have them around my house. I got in on that too. I felt so happy when I heard about these people talk about like I took that fucking TV back the next day. he's like,
Something wrong with that
broken.
TV.
It was broken. It was broken. I'm like, maybe it was broken. Was it this picture bad? No, it just didn't give me what I wanted. All right. So, guys, enjoy the games. I'll talk to you through the games. I wish there was a way we could answer people's questions during games. We'll have to work on that. Good luck, and we will see you tonight for 7 o'clock Paranormal. And then I believe Monday will be the return of basketball. Is it 8 to 9 or 7 to 8? I think TJ likes it later.
Yeah, I think TJ likes 8 to 9, but we'll confirm the timing. Let's say 8 to 9 for now. I have no idea where to pick this thing up. So the first show is going to be kind of funny when we just level set on what's happened to the NBA since we last talked about it in June or July? So
and maybe Kyrie will be with us.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll join us instead of practice.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, guys, good luck. I will see you tonight for 7. Enjoy the games. I love me some football. Out.